Welcome back to the channel. Today you're going to learn how to gear up in Season 2, putting all your effort where it'll actually have the most impact. Now, me and my team have poured through everything, and rather than just stuffing your brain full of theory, I'm going to do something a little different and just show you what's actually important and what things you can actually do to get gear and save time. There are plenty of steps here, but by the end, you will know how to walk about the place in a full set of heroic gear, tricked out, and maybe even mythic gear, all with minimal effort. So let's go, and I'll start with some catch-up hacks. At the start of the patch, we've got a few options for catch-up, and option 1 is really simple. It's just doing the new story quests because those will net you a full set of eye level 597 gear. Though don't bother upgrading that gear, it's not really going to be used in the long run, so you're better saving your Valor Stones. Option 2 is actually a bit better, and it's really fast. It's just buying a full set of eye level 603 BOE pieces from the auction house. I mean, it really is bang for your buck in terms of time. Option 3 then will sound like a lot, but trust me, it isn't, and it's worth listening to this because this is a humongous power boost. You can craft a load of eye level 628 pieces in no time. It really is crazy. Now, to do this, we will be trading weathered crests for enchanted crests, and we'll be doing it at this vendor. In patch 11.0, you needed an enchanter to do that, but not anymore. You can just buy the enchanted crests off that vendor. You're then going to use those enchanted crests to make item level 629 gear. And the neat thing is that since that's technically Season 1 gear, you don't need a spark. And there's a fun quirk that makes this even more powerful, and that quirk is the renown vendors from 11.0. So if you're playing a character that has not picked up those renown rewards from the 11.0 renowns, you can just go and do that now. And doing that will instantly get you around 120 weathered crests. If you add to that the crests that you're earning normally, you can essentially, right off the bat, craft 8 pieces of eye level 629 gear, and you can do those in your best slots. It's pretty damn powerful. And if you're ever in need of even more weathered crests, don't worry, the easiest way to farm up weathered crests is to simply fly through these Azeroth orbs. They'll spawn in whatever zone has got the World Soul Memories event active, and man, it's crazy. You fly around the balls, you get loads of crests, and with those you can immediately get crafting. And of course, I recommend you craft gear in slots that won't be replaced by Season 2 tier gear. Okay, option 4 isn't really an option, it's just a thing you should do. Acquire Circe Circlet. It's the powerful ring from patch 11.0.7. You'll just head to the Siren Isle and follow the main quest line. And the neat thing is that while this was originally time-gated, by now you can just do all of those quests back to back, and that'll net you an eye level 658 ring in no time. And speaking of 658, I've got a final hack for you, and it is that you can get a piece of 658 crafted gear super easy, like no matter what. Here's how you do it. You will basically do Galliwick story mode. That opens up the week of March 10th, right? So if it's that day or later, well, you can do this. The quest to defeat him earns you an enchanted ruined crest. You can use that with a spark to make yourself a lovely bit of eye level 658 gear. Of course, to get started on your sparks, you just pick up the quest from the Catalyst vendor, which is in Dornagal. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to do a full explainer of crafting here, and with all of these little hacks, tips, and tricks, well, you'll be ready to pretty much get stuck straight into main Season 2 content, so let's talk about that. Here's your Season 2 weekly checklist. Think of this as less of a list of chores and more a goal for you to reach. There's a lot, but don't worry, you don't need to max it all out. Now, the easiest, highest priority way to get gear is delves. With Tank Bran and the difficulty drop across seasons, basically this gear is as free as comes, even solo, no matter what spec you are. It's honestly amazing. Delves reward gear in 3 stages. Bountiful coffers turn your keys into gear, and then the Delver's Bounty map gives you a bonus bit of gear, and then there is gear that comes from the Great Vault. So your first priority then is to do your keys. Now, of course, those keys come in the boxes that are awarded from your various weekly activities. I know that sounds like a silly statement, but basically, do your weeklies, you will get keys, simple as. But okay, bear with me, it's time to explain how to actually use our coffer keys right. You really want to make sure that you're only spending coffer keys on at least tier 7 bountiful delves. That's basically so you get champion gear. Now, of course, tier 8s and aboves, those still do give you champion gear. The difference is they already come pre-upgraded at champion 2. But the bit that matters the most is that your gear is on the champion track, and for that, it must be a tier 7 delve. Now, eventually when you do your delves, you will get a Delver's Bounty. Thankfully, Delver's Bounties, which used to be RNG in the past, are now really a case of when rather than if. They will drop within your first few delves. And with these Delver's Bounties, the most important thing is that you use them on a tier 8 or above delve. That's because that will get you a piece of hero track gear, which really is valuable. Our hero track gear is the stuff that will be on our character for a long time. Okay, then there is the Great Vault. You'll want to fill that up, and you'll want to fill that up by doing a minimum of 8 tier 7s in order to earn Hero 1 gear from the vault. Doing tier 9s, though, if you can, is ideal, because that will bring your vault up to Hero 3. But what's neat about Season 2 is there's now a secret 4th stage, earning Gilded Crests. Clearing bountiful tier 11s will drop Gilded Crests. Do these 3 times in order to earn the cap of 21. And also, if you do your Delver's Bounty at 11, you'll actually earn some extra for even more hero gear upgrades. Basically, the simplest thing to do is just to smash out 8 tier 11 delves and to use all of your keys in the process. But if doing 8 tier 11s isn't really manageable, here's the minimum bang for your buck. Use your keys on tier 7s. Farm tier 7s for the Great Vault and do 1 tier 8 for the bounty. On the public test realm, Blizzard scaled us to item level 626, and doing those was honestly a breeze. Doing them at around 610 or 615, which is where you should be after step 1 of this guide in a fresh alt, will basically be no trouble. Delves essentially are better for gearing than ever before, and that's because of 3 factors that I mentioned. First, the ability to earn some Gilded Crests, which is very nice. Second, the Delver's Bounty, which, if used on a tier 11, will get you another bit of hero gear per week, which means you get 2 bits of hero gear a week rather than just 1 from the vault. And then 3, the simple fact that if you do the harder delves, you'll just earn more ruined crests. That's really nice because it means you can upgrade your gear faster. Our next big gear source is, of course, Mythic Plus, and this time round, because of affix changes, content nerfs, and serious buffs to rewards, it's actually way more simple than it was before. And broadly speaking, there are 4 kind of buckets as you progress. And the first one is the most simple. Doing Mythic Plus 2s will earn you champion gear from the end of a run and hero gear in the Great Vault, plus ruined crests, which really is quite powerful. So that's our plus 2s. Now, when you hit plus 6, you'll actually start to earn hero gear at item level 649 from the end of the dungeon. Then, at plus 7, you'll start getting Gilded Crests. Those Gilded Crests will, of course, let you finish off your hero gear upgrades, which is pretty awesome. And then, if you really want to push, at Mythic plus 10, you'll start to get Myth gear in your Great Vault. Basically, just push as high as you can. But with the changes that Blizzard have made, even a plus 2 will make sure that your vault is on the hero track, and you'll actually get useful upgrade crests. Of course, hero track gear can actually stick with your character from quite some time indeed, which basically means that if you're even just doing the minimum effort between Mythic Plus and Delves, man, you will be gearing up so much faster than you're used to. But for Season 2 dungeons, there's a nice twist, especially for people who don't like Mythic Plus, and that is Mythic Zeros. Mythic Zeros are now back to having a weekly lockout, but to make up for that, they actually grant you way better gear than they did in the previous season. They'll give you up to champion gear. So if you don't like Mythic Plus, but you want to gear up through dungeons, that's actually something you can do now. Okay, then there's the topic of raid. I don't really need to explain that. If you like raiding, do the raid. You'll get raid gear. Ideally, clearing the raid as hard as you can until you get tier is the best thing to do. After that, just feel free to, get whatever gear you want. There's other things to not forget, like doing the world boss. And the world boss has been hugely upgraded. I mean, hugely. Instead of maybe dropping gear, the Godfather is in fact guaranteed to drop 1 piece of item level 642 Warbound gear on your account's first kill of each week. Yes, that is account-wide. This is pretty awesome, so doing this while working toward your Undermine renown through world quests and weeklies is basically what your Season 2 weeks are going to look like. At least, of course, until patch 11.1.5 drops in a few months. That said, there are a lot of other things to talk about. We've got to do crafting, but before that, we've got to earn our tier gear. Though in fairness, the rest of gearing has been so upgraded that I think it's basically fair. Essentially, Blizzard nerfed the one-time tier piece that you earn from getting ahead of the curve, Keystone Master, or hitting 1600 PvP rating. So instead of a tier token to get tier gear, it now just adds one charge to the catalyst, which of course you'll use to transform bits of gear into tier. Now, as usual, of course, the catalyst will gain a charge every 2 weeks. And your best bet then is to save these charges for when you need your final pieces of tier gear. Now, for the first week, your only other source of tier gear is going to be the raid. So hop in LFR, normal, maybe heroic, and basically just pray for drops. Your last source then is, of course, the Great Vault. Fill it up with as many sources as you can tolerate between Delves, Mythic Plus, and Raid, and that will increase your chances of having a bit of tier gear in the vault next week. Good luck with that. But then there's step 4. Crafting things, because we can craft things that are real powerful. Look, there's no two ways about it. Crafting is the fastest way to get real gear with good stats that you know you want, because it doesn't involve pissing around with RNG. Now, you are bottlenecked by needing sparks to craft the really good stuff, and you may have spent your first one thanks to the Galioic story mode thing if you did that. Anyway, from now on, you will earn 1 spark every 2 weeks, and depending on how far along you are with your character's gearing, you'll probably spend sparks with either runed or gilded crests. Now, Mythic Plus 2 and Tier 8 Delves will give you runed crests, and an enchanted runed crest will cost 45, right? Only 45, and that will get you another 658 piece. That actually represents quite the discount from what those cost in the previous season. Now, if you can earn 60 gilded crests, that'll actually let you craft a 675 piece, which is absolutely awesome, but to earn those gildeds, you will need to farm out Mythic Plus 7s or just do 2 weeks of Delves at tier 11. Okay. With that said, let's talk about upgrades and farming up our resources. Okay, next we're going to farm out some upgrades. After all of your big weekly boosts are done, it is just a case of farming. So go dump your Valor Stones and your crests and just smash your head into whatever content you want. But to get the most bang for your buck, here are some tips. The sweet spot for Mythic Plus is +7 this time round because +7s drop gilded crests. If that's out of your reach, any key level below that will drop runed crests, which will basically upgrade most of the gear you're getting anyway. Just do be wary of the weekly crest caps. And then, of course, with delves, basically the harder the delve, the more crests it will drop. So if you want more bang for your buck there, well, do the harder delves, which frankly, you will have been doing anyway. The final thing for farming then is a little bit of a funny one. It's the crest exchange system. And if you only use this near the start of Season 1, man, you really should use it this time around because Blizzard have changed it and it is so much more powerful. Basically, once your character literally has no other use for a crest, so say all of your gear is better than what weathered crests can upgrade to, well, then you'll be able to trade a quantity of weathered crests into the next level up, and so on and so forth. So if you end up having a whole bunch of weathered crests, well, you can turn those into better crests at a rate of 45. Previously, it was a rate of 90. This basically means if you've got loads of weathered crests, you can turn them into some carved. You may even then be able to turn some of your carved into runed, and so on and so forth. This actually will, as the weeks go on, help you earn way more gilded crests. Pretty damn powerful. Okay, that said, let's just do the TLDR. I'm going to boil this all down to 10 steps. Step 1 is doing your 4 weeklies. Those will get you keys, crests, Valor Stones, and 2 bits of Veteran gear, which is item level 623, and hopefully it will get you your spark as well. Step 2 is to do story mode Galliwix if you're watching this video at, the time where story mode Galliwix is a thing. Doing that at the end of the campaign will get you an enchanted runed crest. That'll let you use your first spark to make an item level 658 piece. Ideally, perhaps make that a one-hander, a ring, or a neck. Step 3 is to get a shitload of weathered crests and use those to make as many bits of maxed out Season 1 gear as we can, because that'll let us fill out our slots and get straight into the proper content. Step 4 is to go and get Circe's Circlet upgraded if you've not done that already. Head to the Siren Isle and do the quests marked as important until your ring is item level 658. And if you don't see an important quest, just finish the weekly and then it should appear. Step 5 is to go and kill the world boss. Your first kill of the week will get you a piece of Warbound 642 gear, so just pray it's an armor type you want. Step 6, do your weekly delves. That is, of course, 4 bountiful delves, then 4 more to finish the rest of your Great Vault slots. You'll want to make sure these are at least tier 7, and when you do earn a Delver's Bounty, you'll want to use that on a tier 8 because, well, that will get you a piece of hero gear. And if you can, you want want to do tier 11s for gilded crests. 7. This is simple. Raid on every difficulty you can, aiming for tier gear and vault slots. Step 8 is also simple. Jump into Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus 7 is the sweet spot right now, and relative to the previous season, it should be quite a bit easier. However, Plus 6 will still get you hero gear in the Great Vault, and as you go higher, you will earn more crests, which will speed up your progress. Of course, you will want to try and get your 3 vault slots filled, but if you don't, hey, no sweat. It's a video game, you're not forced to do any of this. Point 9 then, if you've got any slots left that are below item level 626, just go and spend any remaining weathered crests on crafting those while you wait for drops, just so your character doesn't have like some random blue on it that's useless. And step 10, you're free. How will you use your freedom? If you want, you can do other content for renown and undermine achievements, or you can go back into Mythic Plus and you can farm up crests and gear drops. Plus 7 again is the sweet spot for difficulty versus reward because it does give you gilded crests, but plus 10 will drop myth track gear in the vault, and well, you know, if you're really hardcore, that's the kind of shit you really live for anyway. Or hell, you could just go and repeat this whole process on an alt, and hopefully the game will have thrown a few more bits of Warbound gear to help you get that alt started faster. And that is gearing. The best part here is you can totally ignore our advice. You can do lower or higher delves or keys, whatever. It's pretty much the same. What this video has been about is giving you the sweet spots, right? To get the best gear, the best, well, the most juice for the squeeze, to put it that way. There will be more guides to follow later this week, just some laser targeted ones that'll really help you. But till then, well, check out this video next.